everyone, and welcome to the X&1 Star Wars Legion cast. I'm your host, Randy, here with my M&M boys, Mitchem and Matt. How's it going?
What's up, guys? I am excited. I am so excited for today's episode.
How's it going, boys? How are we doing?
It's windy, Matt. The winds of change are beginning to blow across this plastic miniature field.
Oh, man.
We have some things to discuss this episode, and I don't know. Before we dive in, how are we doing with our goals this year? We get any painting done? Any games in? Hobbying?
Part of the reason I'm so excited, I'm here to report, guys. I am finally moving on from the ARC Troopers that I have painted. I got Jesse done, the first one, and then I finally finished up the rest of the unit. I caught the bug this weekend, and I just went to town and just started. I was on a mission to get those guys done, and finally got them done. And then I threw in a bonus DC-15, so now I have 4 DC-15s if I ever want to run 4 phase 1s with DC-15s. I don't know if I'll ever do that, but hey, so there's my arcs up. That's Jesse up front there. And then, there's the 4 squads I painted up, my blue squad guys with my Geonosian base. So looking back at the first squad of arcs I painted, the second guys are a lot better.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
nice.
It's nice to see progress in some of your models. Just over the course of a year or 6 months, like I feel like I put a lot more detail into these guys. I had a theme for them. I found some pictures of like a breakdown of like Ahsoka's specific 332nd squad, and it had like each type of clone trooper with her like art style somehow imprinted on the armor. And so this was the ARC Trooper theme. And so that's kind of how I did the orange and did you can't really see their skirt backsides, but they have like a blue V and a white V and then an orange V. So that's kind of how I got that. And then they don't really necessarily have the Ahsoka markings on the helmets. I can go back and do those later. But yeah, overall, I'm very pleased how they turned out. And I'm just glad to move on. And I think we're at week 9 or 10 of the year. And this puts me at 8 models for the year. So we're almost back on pace, on track. So
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever used the water release stickers for that stuff?
I'm not a huge fan. I didn't even use those when I was doing AOS or 40K models. I never could figure out how to use them correctly, and I could never get them to stick. And honestly, it was just painting was already such a hassle for me anyway. I didn't even want to mess with something else. So no, I have no idea how to do those.
I did one on my bus with the Rebel symbol. And I think it's pretty good, but I feel like there's a little film around it. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of freehand as much as I could and then just kind of stuck to the template that I had as best I could. And I mean, they got 3 colors on them, so they're table ready, honestly. And I'm more of a player than a hobbyist, in these types of games, there's always 2 sides. There's the hobby and the gaming, and I tend to lean more towards the gaming. So as long as my guys look not gray, I'm happy. So
You might be a hobbyist by the end of this year.
We'll see. We'll see how my Bolt Action Army looks at the end of this year, and you can ask me that again. Our end of year review that we do.
Yeah, our end of year exit interviews.
Yeah.
Cross examination.
Oh God, I better get 52 done, or you guys are gonna roast me.
Yeah, I need to make more progress on my 60. I almost got these 2 Black Sun Heavies done, but not quite. But I did get all my swoops glued. So I have 6 gray boys. Well, some are prime, so they're not all gray. They are ready to overrun people without actually moving very far. Fingers crossed.
I'm excited to see you put those on the table. I think that's kind of like the last unit in Shadow Collective you haven't really fielded yet.
Yeah, just run them online.
In waves? Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, I haven't put them on the table, so.
Yeah. I'm interested to see your paint scheme.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to figure that out. Yeah.
I have done a little bit with some Wookiees. I know that's kind of...
Whoa!
I had pledged to not build another army till Gungans, but I did start on Wookiees. This is March 5th today. As of March 5th, I am not expecting Gungans. So in the future, when Gungans get dropped at Adepticon and I buy them all there because they're releasing them for sale, then, maybe I don't finish the Wookiee army. But that is not likely to happen. So I might have to do some Wookiees. So I guess maybe that or ATRT going forward. For my goal of playing a game of Legion a week, I played 3 with an asterisk, 2, definitely 2 games of Legion last weekend. So that's good. That's a win for me. So I don't know if we're talking battle reports, but I'll have one if we get to that. But yeah, played a couple games.
Yeah.
I did X and 1 it up for the boys.
Yeah, it was a local tournament at a local game store this weekend, if I remember correctly. Yeah, just kind of not really a store championship, but just kind of like a, hey, last hoorah before Worlds. Yeah. So
I think it was
super big. I think it was, 10 to 12 players?
Oh, at 12, I think.
Yeah.
12-ish. I think we might
still pretty decent for kind of a last minute notice. So
yeah, no, there's some
Ray and I weren't able to go, but I'm glad we had one guy represent us there. So
some good players showed up, and I think there are some people from even in Kansas that came down.
Yeah,
so that's fun to have new people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good chance to go to Edmund. Love going to Edmund Unplugged and get some games in.
That's awesome, man.
Well, we'll see if we get to that, but there is quite a bit to discuss. Y'all just want to dive right in here?
Oh, I'm so ready. I'm
should we
ready.
do in order of interest or chronological?
Let's go from the top. Yeah, let's go from the top.
Okay. From the top. Make it
so hot. I guess first thing is that AMG is taking over running the Legion tournament at Adepticon, and I guess the other tournaments for their games as well. Is that correct?
I don't know for sure on that. I do know for sure that Legion is being run directly by AMG.
Yeah.
Now, there was a event organizer that was not with AMG that was running it, and they are no longer running the event.
We don't know why. That's for anyone to know or whatever. But I did want to talk about, so the tournament obviously might not be being run how we're accustomed to. It might be being run by the rules in the document.
Yes.
Which is kind of a funny thing to say.
Galactic Conquest rule packet. I read through that the other day. And I was reading through that the other day just to kind of refresh myself because, I mean, I would say 90% of it is what we're accustomed to at local tournaments.
Yeah, there's a couple.
There's a few changes that are pretty minuscule. I don't think will come into play, but it might just feel a tad bit different. But I mean, overall, it's still going to be, Worlds event. Like it's not gonna drastically change anything. I think, in my opinion. I mean, so
yeah, there's a couple of weird things. The time in the round is kind of obfuscated.
Time in the round's kind of wonky,
obscured, hidden in a way that I guess they're not calling out. X amount of time left in the round.
Yeah,
there's supposedly going to be a random die roll that might add a certain amount of time to the round.
Which,
and then Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I think wouldn't be so bad if it was still hard dice down at the end
that's
of that
the
time.
the big change is there's no hard dice down. So usually how an event goes, as time's called, 15 minutes after that, hard dice down, and you're done. So this is like time in the round. So if you're just starting a turn and timer goes, like you're finishing that round. So that could be potentially
another hour.
Yeah, but you don't know the exact time either because the dice roll determines if there's more or less time, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's something from X-Wing, if I'm mistaken.
Maybe. I think it would matter.
I could be totally wrong. I'm probably 100%
it would matter less in X-Wing because the rounds are so much shorter.
Okay. Maybe I just misheard. I'm probably wrong on that. But.
Oh, no. I think. But okay. I don't. The time in the round where you're finishing your round, potentially, I don't know necessarily if it would be a big game thing, but I think there might be potential for like delays in the event kind of thing that a hard dice down kind of gets around.
I mean, we already have an event with 250 people plus. I mean, there's already going to be delays from other things. I mean, you don't need to add on to that list, but
I looked today. It was 272 of 276. I'm assuming those last 4 will be the LCQ invites. So, yeah, we're still potential for over 256, which would be probably mean there'd be a round 4 either on that Friday or Saturday. So
many.
Crazy.
That's a lot of Legion.
I commend trying to combat people gaming the clock. But I think the clock gets gamed more by just people playing slow, like we talked about it last episode. And a tool you have against that is knowing when the game's going to end. So it's like, okay, well, I'm clearly not going to get 5 or 6 rounds, so let me move, kind of thing. So I got another question then. So my understanding was that it was going to be 1 loss and then you pretty much had no hope of advancing. But is that not the case now? Is that because the rules change or just the number of players?
It could potentially, maybe. I think another thing, and I forgot to mention this, in the Galactic Conquest document, my understanding is intentional draws are allowed, which in the previous setup was not allowed. So I think the draw potential has gone up, where people like maybe not an X and 1 makes it, but like whatever O and 1 with a draw might make it. Now I don't know about your
an XO1.
Yeah, XO1.
That sounds like our After Dark podcast.
But maybe day 2 that would be something you could do to guarantee something. I think it might mess up your tiebreakers if you do it too early. But yeah, just another potential variable. I think the safest bet would just be to not lose, but I think there might be a more potential.
I do think that is a good strategy to make it to the end, is not losing.
Usually going undefeated is you're not listening to us, but hey, that's usually a way to win tournaments.
So I don't know if I'd risk the draw, especially early. Now the draw might get you to day 2. I think you might be hurting your chance at day 3.
Does everyone get to round 4 and all the undefeateds just go, hey, let's all agree to draw?
That would be something. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a prisoner's dilemma, right? Because what if you decide not to and then you win, then you're up on everybody.
It won't happen. People will people.
Yeah. So, but so I could see late, maybe like round before top 8 or whatever, 2 undefeateds might intentionally draw and then try to scoot on through. But who knows? Not something I'm going to be worrying about. So,
hey, man, don't write yourself off till
Mitchem's
job. I still think you're going to win more than 1 game.
We're firmly on 1 game, especially after the events of this weekend. I feel like
I was talking about it with some guys on Monday is our local play night at our local game store, and we were talking about, the amount of world championships that invites that were available because of store championships, it's stuff that we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And and the guy I played, Colton, he brought up a good point. He was like, because there was such a high number of invites given out to people, that's going to reduce the overall competition because every Jim, Joe, Jack, and Bill can get one. It doesn't mean that all those guys are on the same level as different community metas and competition vary across a state, surely across the world, you know. So I mean, I still fairly confident that you can win 2 games because I think our local community is pretty competitive.
Now,
at least in our local region, I think.
I don't think Colton needs to worry about this because Colton obviously is very good. But maybe I need to be like, hey, maybe I am one of those Jim, Jack, Bills that just got the invite. Maybe that's me.
Hey man, you still got an invite. So
there's so many things that can happen too between who you play against versus what lists. Like you could run into a skew that's good or bad for you.
Yep.
So
even the flop, the objective flop. I'm 800. I'm running red. How does that? What flops in number 3? What can I force? Just that kind of stuff. So I'm not worried. I'm just gonna try to play within my as good as I can play with what I've got, and then see how it goes.
Yeah, man. Have fun. Enjoy playing tons of games.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Oh,
so
okay.
that will be interesting. I think there's a little concern about how it will go, but hopefully it all runs well and it just gets better next year and going forward. I would like to see AMG take more charge of this stuff and run it well and continue supporting the competitive side more than I feel like they currently do.
Sure.
I can't speak for everyone, but I would like to think that would only be good for the game if they consider that more, hopefully.
Credit where credit's due, they did basically double the size of the Thursday Swiss because people were talking about how they wanted, more chances to play. So they had a 64 person that was full, and they ended up doubling it, and they got, I don't think it quite filled up, but it got pretty close. So, there's...
I mean, it's... Whatever AMG does, it doesn't hurt Legion, because, I think this is the biggest event they've ever had. And plus, it sounds like there's something every single day that you could do for Star Wars Legion at Adepticon. So, again, them getting more involved is not bad in any sense. I mean, it's just going to get more exposure and more people playing the game, which in the end is always the goal, So, I agree with you, Randy. I think them getting more involved is for the better. Even though the players may not agree with it in the short term, I think in the long term, it's going to be for the best.
Yeah. So. And they'll probably be growing pains, right? I mean, I doubt there's ever been a Legion tournament this big, right? So.
Yeah. I would say 275 players, is that what you said, Matt?
272 was the count when I looked at it today. Insane. I think 276 was the cap, so I think that's the space for
I know GW has events, because 40K can easily double that. But, I mean, also, they've been doing this for, decades. Mm-hmm. AMG has only been doing this for, less than 10 years.
And my understanding is the GW stuff's third party. That's not even Games Workshop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, GW has only recently started to do, GW-sponsored GTs. And I think it's only been happening in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe less than that. But for the most part, a lot of their big tournaments are third party, and they have a different they have their local tournaments, and there's regional GTs you can go to, and then there's world level events. So again, it just there will be growing pains, and I mean if AMG uses some of that model that GW does, I think it'll be for the best because, I mean, hey, what works. And, if it's GW's been doing it for a long time and their tournaments are great. I've never complained about the way they run their tournaments. It's just other things that they do that I complain about. So, but yeah, so we can we can hope for the best. So
I kind of hope they do hard cap the players next year, or like be a little more careful in tracking the tickets, because then I feel it would be just like, oh man, I got a ticket and got to go. Like that's an accomplishment in itself. And I'm not saying it needs to be 128. Like it can be 256 or higher if you want it, but it would be cool if like, hey, here's the number. This is how many are going to go out. So you got to win it, or we'll keep 5 or 10 back for the LCQ.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Yeah. I just
100%.
think more communication information ahead of time is just always good for everyone, less speculating going on. And so,
yep.
Okay, cool. Well,
So that was the first thing. Now we can get on to the exciting stuff.
Only took us 20
right.
minutes. So we're good.
So next is we had some updates to the CRB. Some new keywords for some new units coming out. They mentioned specifically they were for Bad Batch, Clone Commandos, Range Troopers, and Inquisitors, I believe.
Yep.
And we'll just take a look at some of the rules here and see what we have.
Just want to roll down alphabetically. Is that how we're probably the best way?
That is how I label the screenshots.
Yep.
I'm just going to look at whatever Randy puts up.
Man, Randy is so smart. I don't know what we do. Matt, we'd be blind leading the blind over here.
There we go.
All right.
Do we need to read it for our audio-only people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the first one we got is Advanced Targeting, Unit Type X, and then it's a unit keyword. And it says when a unit with the Advanced Targeting X keyword declares an attack against an enemy unit with the unit type listed, before measuring range, it may gain X aim tokens. A unit that uses the Advanced Targeting X keyword may only form one attack pool and skips the declare additional defender step of the attack sequence.
Very interesting keyword.
I think it's really wordy just to say, okay, I'm going to shoot whatever my unit type X is. Okay, I'm going to decide, fully commit to shooting that. You get an aim. I think there's a lot of like wording in there to prevent you from being like, oh, I'm going to shoot this, quote unquote, to get the aim and then turn around and shoot something else. I think, this is very similar to the wording on long shot as well, to where like, to use long shot, you have to have the aim beforehand to be able to increase your range by 1. So you can't get a aim from, say, Hunter and then immediately use it on long shot to increase your range. Like you had to have had it previously. I think that's where the before you measure range wording comes in. So this is just to say, like, you pick, I am going to shoot at the unit type X, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Fully commit. Then I measure the range. Okay, I'm in range. Okay, I get an aim to use against just that specific unit that I am shooting. So it's just a lot of like kind of CYA stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that before measuring range, it's to clarify where in the sequence of declaring attackers and rolling dices, and not so much like, I haven't touched my range stick yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
you can pre-measure at any time.
Right.
So like during another activation, you could pre-measure these guys and just be like, oh, okay, these guys are in range. So then I can go in and do all this stuff.
What I'm interested in, I've been thinking about this keyword today. I'm thinking this is like a Clone Commando thing. And maybe there's some kind of, they talked about maybe weapon swaps.
Yep.
So maybe
that would be cool.
Maybe it can swap what weapon is, or what
like
unit
a
type X is. Yeah, maybe you can change what that is.
I'm thinking it's going to be like a droid trooper unit, keyword, and then you can reconfigure it to be like a repulsor vehicle or like a ground vehicle. So you have like a RPG type of like rocket launcher on one side, and then you have like an ion blaster rifle on the other. and they get some way of like config, like you bring the guy that has this reconfig gun. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, oh man, it's man,
which is very exciting.
Clone commanders, man, are going to be so sweet. I'm so pumped.
You stay over at Rebels. Excited. You stay over there. This is my. I needed this. Republic needs more toys.
I'll start putting my clones together too back there.
come on over. Come over to clones.
So my prediction is that it will be Delta Squad will get a advanced targeting Geonosians. Because I remember in that game, they were a featured enemy, so I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm. That's a little deep lore, but like first mission, don't you go kill Sunfok as clone commander?
Spoilers. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, if you haven't played Republic Commando, I'm sorry. That one person.
Because I know clones definitely need help killing Geonosians.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
But yeah, they can do some interesting things with that. Give it a little more of rock, paper, scissors feel with the...
We need more droid killing tools.
Well, okay. So I'm looking at Legion HQ right now, and the Geonosian unit card, it has just the trooper unit type. So there is no Geonosian trooper tag. Yeah. You know, so like there's droid trooper, there's clone trooper, there's creature trooper, there's emplacement, repulsor, ground vehicle.
Could they not put the name though, like Wookiee Warriors on there?
Or
I think Wookiees have their own though.
Well, I think they're just troopers on the.
Let me see. No, they have the Wookiee trooper. They're Wookiee troopers because for the command cards, you have to.
Right.
They have to be issued from a Wookiee trooper commander to get the effect. So there's Wookiee troopers, there's clone troopers, there's trooper, droid trooper, creature trooper.
Yep, Mitch was correct. They are Wookiee troopers. I pulled out my Wookiee.
Oh yeah, you have your actual thing. Repulsor vehicles, ground vehicles. I'm trying to think what else there is. So I think those are going to be the different types of like unit type keywords. So when it comes down to it, it's pretty broad.
Yeah, I feel like it's too broad.
And I feel like if they just give it like the advanced targeting trooper keyword, I mean, they're just going to get a free aim for whatever they shoot at. Like, so I feel like they're going to have to make it specific in some way, or maybe it's like advanced targeting unit 1. So maybe they don't get it. I don't know.
It could be a droid trooper core. They could define it.
Oh yeah, okay.
They could use the ranks.
That's a good way to kind of define it a little bit. Yeah. That's kind of specify it, bring down your pool of available aims.
I guess it just depends how much this keyword's going to get spammed, and if it's just on 1 or 2 units, then it's probably okay being more broad. But if it's going to be on a lot of things going forward,
if it's a clone keyword, it's going to get spammed everywhere.
Yeah.
Because we like
just what they needed was more
sharing
tokens.
Is caring.
I was about to say advanced targeting 1. Arcs have tactical, so I've got aims anyway. So just giving an aim is not that big a deal. Just having 1 aim. I mean, come on.
Well, now I can have even more.
But
I'm curious, like what the X will be like.
There's we need more information, but this is very intriguing.
Will I get 3 aims?
Yeah,
who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, I got to see it in action to kind of get the full effect of this.
And this, we could be all wet. This could not be a clone commando tag at all. This could be
100% a clone commander
range.
tag.
I think it is, but
I bet my house on it. Like this is 100%.
Don't bet your house on it, buddy.
And it's not defining range here, is it?
No. It says before measuring range. That's all it says about range.
So yeah, maybe it'll be on saber throw.
Oh, whoa.
That'd be crazy.
I think it's what Matt and I were talking about. I think it's an upgrade that you could take on either Bad Batch or Clone Commandos. It's like going to be a specific gun that you could take. And
It sounds like it could be gear.
Or a gear, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's. I don't know if it'll be on a unit card, but I think it'll be an upgrade either on a gun that has reconfig or an upgrade that you can take or something like that. So it may not even come into play as much. It may be trash, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, let's see what the next one is.
Nope. To the next one.
Hey, that's my boys.
This is why we label things. If I go this way. Oh, there it is.
Hey.
Here we go. Complete the mission. Do you want to read this one, Mitchem?
Sure. Let me get my reading voice out. Complete the mission, a unit keyword. During setup, for each friendly unit with the complete the mission keyword, place a friendly priority mission token on the battlefield, not within any deployment zone. While a unit with the complete the mission keyword is at range 1 of a friendly priority mission token, that unit gains Surge to Defend. When a unit with the complete the mission keyword attacks an enemy unit at range 1 of a friendly priority mission token, the attacking unit's attack pool gains critical 2. The critical 2 keyword. Whew, that was
I think this might be my favorite one that got added.
Oh,
I
love
this.
Great keyword. I love this. This is fantastic.
I have some questions. Mainly, can I overlap objective tokens with this? Is my first question.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine key positions, intercept, those kind of things, just putting this on the point, and then either you can get in there and give yourself Search to Defend to hold, or you can punish someone who's trying to score. Both of those seem pretty good.
Go ahead. I don't know. Well, I was just going to say, I don't think you're going to be able to put it on top of a objective token, but I think overlapping I think that's the main point of this.
Yeah, I think you can put it right next to it.
I think that's the whole reason this is called Complete the Mission.
Mm-hmm.
My question is how many of these priority mission tokens can I put on the table? Like, do I get one for each keyword, or am I just getting one total? I mean, one total makes sense, but if I get one for each of my units that has this keyword, imagine putting 3 of those suckers out there and just chaining it along, and I'm getting critical 2 and Surge to Defend the whole game. Like, now, it's amazing.
That is another question, I guess, because now maybe I'm just looking through it with my Republic visor on. This feels like a Clone Commando keyword to me. So, can I take 3?
I was thinking Bad Batch.
Okay, well, maybe Bad Batch, but can I take... Bad Batch, you might be limited, but could I take... This was a Clone Commando thing, can I take 3 Clone Commandos?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
This to me, this feels like an operative thing.
Okay. I think that would...
That was my first thought as well, but...
Yeah.
Man, if it's on Clone Commandos and you could bring 3 Clone Commandos, that'd be so broken. So good.
A question I've had with Clone Commandos, just thinking about the hypothetical, is, they're better than ARC Troopers, right? Well, how do you make them more defensive than ARC Troopers without giving them Search to Defend? It's like, well, maybe something like this. Like, sometimes they have it. Sometimes they don't. But I don't think you want to just give them Search to Defend naturally.
Yeah.
Well, you give them advanced targeting, Matt.
Yeah, you give them advanced targeting and complete the mission.
That's how you make them.
that way, and then you put the priority mission token near you, so they're getting Search to Defend and an aim whenever they're shooting at their target. I think this is a great mechanic in the game. I wish there was more things like this in the game. I know there was the Sabine graffiti drop, but I think suppression has kind of become less of a big deal as it used to be ever since like the panic changes and everything. So I think that kind of fell off. But yeah, I love seeing stuff like this on the board. I love, getting inside my opponent's head, like, oh, am I going to put this to damage you? Am I going to put this to be defensive? Like, I love having more things in my bag of tactics that I can pull out and be like, oh, hey, by the way, I get to throw out this token and it does this, this, and this. Like, what am I going to do? You don't know. I love having this big brain, deep discussion on, because people are going to disagree on how to play this. I mean, they're going to be like, okay, critical 2 is a must. You should always put it near your opponent. And I think there's going to be a lot of guys that say
it
surge
depends
to
on
block
the list
is,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
no, 100%.
That's the great thing about it.
Well, I mean, and this responds to your opponent's list. It's like, hey, am I playing a vehicle heavy list? Are there dark troopers across the board for me? Okay, I need critical 2.
Mm-hmm.
Am I playing like a Paname, Pike, Padme, Anakin spam just defensive tech? Okay, I can do that too with Surge to Defend natively. I don't need surges. I love this keyword. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it should help the clones out after they get the big nerf bat soon, right, Matt?
Yeah, so at minimum, this is a very interesting keyword that I would like to play around with, even if it's somehow not good or it's not on spammable units.
Mm.
Could you imagine if droids got this and they could just plant all their B1s inside of it?
Dude.
They had surge block.
I mean, there's still wet paper, but still, I mean, surge block ain't nothing, so.
That would be huge. Just giving them all crit 2 on top of probably running E5S with crit 1, so they have crit 3, so their poke would be like Rebel Vet level poke.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I guess the crit 2 would stack with any other critical, like normal?
yeah.
Right?
It should.
Right? Okay. I figured.
Thematically, I feel like it fits Rebels, but I feel like the effects are not needed in Rebels. Like most of them are already white surge block, and there's a ton of critical in Rebels already too.
I guess the Rebel...
Not that more critical's ever bad, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it could be a Rebel keyword. Now, I don't know what Rebel unit needs Surge to Defend.
I just don't see...
That's a scary thought.
How... Like, I don't think this is going to be an upgrade or anything. I don't know how Rebels are going to get access, unless there's a new unit coming out for Rebels, but like...
Whatever Commandos. I don't know how far away they are. They're pretty far away.
The Saboteurs.
Yeah. I see this as being a unit card keyword. And I mean, this is Bad Batch 100%, I think. Like, or Commandos.
Yeah.
But
if it's not
I think this is...
Or maybe this is Delta.
Sure.
Or maybe advanced targeting is Delta and this is regular Clone Commando.
Yeah.
Who knows? Only time will tell.
Adepticon will tell us.
Yeah.
Adepticon.
Luckily, we'll have someone boots on the ground.
Will spill her secrets.
Yep. To be listening in on AMG's conversations.
Well, let's quit wildly speculating about this one and speculate about something else. So a little change here to the independent keyword. They've added that unit may gain the listed token or perform the listed action as a free action. So, gentlemen, I think this would imply that they might be giving independent keywords with an action attached instead of just tokens.
Yes.
This is spicy.
Could be wild.
Now, yes. So we were talking about this in our Discord earlier today, and one of our friends, Travis, pointed out how ridiculous independent move would be in any kind of number. And I agree, that would be actually insane because that much mobility would be objectively, like for objective lists, potentially game breaking. Like that'd be nuts. So I'm hoping it's not independent move.
Yeah, but I mean, now that you say that, and I'm thinking about it, it's like, I mean, it would be independent dodge, aim, or anything that you can generate tokens, because you could just say independent that token. So it's going to be something that doesn't generate tokens. So like move, recover.
some card action, you know,
card action.
Yeah, maybe they release something that has a card action that we don't know about yet.
Quick thinking,
attack, recover.
Oh,
yeah, attack is another one that could be
also be busted.
Depending on
because there's independent surge, so you get surge tokens. So it just wouldn't be anything that generates a token, I think, because it would just say independent said token. So it's going to have to be something. There's got to be either a new unit specific action that's coming out, or
yep. So that's what it's move, attack, card action we don't know about yet. Those are our options.
Or recover.
Yeah.
I mean, what about like claim? I don't think, like claim an objective.
That would be weird to put on an independent because
I don't think it. I mean, it's already a free.
There's only
action.
so many objectives that have that.
Sure. Yeah, I think
so. That would just be useless.
Independent recovery would be interesting, but it would also effectively negate suppression turn by turn.
Oh, dude!
Because you
didn't even think about that.
What if it's independent repair?
Independent heal.
Yeah, independent heal.
Medbot. I think independent recovery would be interesting though because it would allow that reconfig for the weapon
to the fleet troopers, baby.
On on the weapon that we think advanced targeting is going to go on. So the clone commandos would be able to choose which gun they want every turn. Now, granted, they would never have suppression on them either, which would be insane. But I guess that's the same thing as saying like something's an infinite courage, but at least you could still suppress an infinite courage.
Yeah. So I think this lands firmly in. We don't know enough about what's going to go on yet. But
independent recovery.
Something is happening that is not the way independent has worked before.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see this going on the range troopers too. They seem like they'll be a speed 1 unit to me.
Yeah.
Just because of how heavy they look. So maybe to make them kind of like snow troopers without making them snow troopers is give them the independent move. So yeah, because I mean that was kind of their vibe in that Solo movie is like, oh, they're coming at us, they got mag boots, they're still coming. So I don't know, I feel like the range troopers are the ones we know the least about. I think
a lot of the keywords that were released, a lot of them don't make sense for range troopers. Like the other ones do.
Yeah.
For the other units.
I'm still a little surprised we're getting range troopers at all. They were like a one-off in Solo. So
I didn't even know that's where they were from.
Yeah, honestly. No, they was the train. They did that train heist.
It makes total sense.
Yeah. So.
But I know I've heard rumors that they were just kind of like hey, these are basically reskinned shore troopers, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of see it, but
do we know
how many times? Empire is very similar to clones in that sense. It's like how many times can you repaint a stormtrooper? And it's like how many? I mean, you have P1 clones and P2 clones. Like, how many types of clones can you have? So
well, hey man, when they get to Thrawn and they do the zombie stormtroopers, man,
that's gonna be fun.
Don't you dare!
I'm excited about that.
Randy.
That's going to be fun. That's happening. It's got to be happening,
dude. You got to put that. Oh man!
I mean, if the game goes on long enough,
everything and play that so fast.
We'll see. Let's see. We're not regs. Matt, you wanna?
Okay, we're not regs. It's a unit keyword. A unit with "we're not regs" keyword may not spend green tokens on other clone trooper units, and other clone trooper units may not spend that unit's green tokens. The fire support keyword cannot be used while a unit with the "we're not regs" keyword is performing an attack.
So obviously Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, 100%.
That's literally their tagline. It's like the first thing they say, I think, in season 7.
If they're cutting them off from fire support, I feel like they are going to be putting out a lot of dice on their own.
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
it's going to be loaded with keywords.
There's 5 models, and then 6, including Omega, or 5. I mean, so like it just depends on how many dice each one's going to be throwing. So I think you're right. I mean, they're going to be throwing a lot of dice anyway. This still feels bad, in my opinion.
This indicates
but
that Bad Batch is going to be really strong. That they think it's probably unbalanced to have them have access to fire support.
Sure.
I will note it doesn't cut them off from Exemplar or Yoda tokens, which makes me think the Exemplar hit is still coming, hopefully.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think
My
about
sad
that.
face.
That's...
But,
I'm not too upset about it, though.
No,
I am.
I think they're just saying, hey, we don't want whatever Bad Batch is doing to have P1 Z6 fire support behind it as well.
And I mean, too, not a mechanic standpoint, but like it's super thematic as well.
Definitely.
Because like they're not regs, and they told everyone like, hey, we're not like regular clones. Like, we don't do that shit. Like, we're different. And so like thematically it makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, mechanically, I don't really care for it, but hey, Gar's already OP, so I guess we need to be nerfed somehow.
If there's a future somewhere with clones being good but not reliant on, the core clone mechanic, then maybe that's good.
Yeah.
This is making me think that advanced targeting is going to be on Crosshair.
Ooh.
Like it's going to be on his upgrade.
His sniper rifle that he's going to have. I think it'll be, if that's the case, it'll probably be droid troopers. Because that's...
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
I was going to say it'd be wild if it was Force users, but yeah. Droid troopers, yeah.
Well, Jedi and everything are still just troopers, so...
Yeah.
I'm just very interested to see how Bad Batch and all their different weapon profiles go into one unit. Because you've got sniper rifle, Hunter loves his knife, Wrecker has the giant clone commando gun, and then also he just melees things. I mean, I'm just really curious to see how that all kind of comes together to form a singular attack pool. Or if I
think it's going to be just a bigger version of Inferno Squad, really. Except of having, like Inferno Squad, they have Delminko and Gideon, and then the random Joe guy. It's just all the guys are going to be named in Bad Batch. So, like, Crosshair will be probably a red or a red-black sniper. Wrecker will probably be a 2 black, 2 white gun.
I hope he's a Black Dice Z6.
Dude.
That's why you don't have fire support.
Are you a clone player, Randy? Are you a clone player?
Man,
are you really asking?
I'm willing to throw a little balance out.
He's speaking my language right now.
For theme, man.
Black Z6? Oh, man. Get Randy to AMG headquarters right now.
Well, I'm wondering, like you're saying, if it's like ISF and Iden, but also maybe a little bit Inquisitors. Like, I think maybe it could be that to bring them all, it's going to be 2 units.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It might be Hunter, and then the rest of the squad.
Yeah,
and then that's 2 operative ranks right there.
Yeah, I don't think you can embed these guys in a normal clone unit. Thematically, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, no.
No,
they're going to be
their own
together.
So it's not.
They're going to be their own like special. Yeah, they're going to be their own thing.
It's not going to be like 5s and Echo.
I think it's going to be exactly like Inquisitors, like Randy has been saying.
So yeah,
and I think Hunter will be his own individual unit with his own card, and then I think there'll be a Bad Batch card. And then you upgrade Crosshair, Echo, Omega, and Tech. And, I think Hunter will be more of a melee focus. I think he'll have like a, black-white pistol or a black pistol, range 2 or whatever ARC troopers have for their pistols.
Black-white.
And then I think his like vibro knives will probably be, I don't know, red, black, white, something like that.
I don't know if Omega will be Republic at all.
There was no... Well,
we'll get to it. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Hey, we can head that way.
Stepping ahead. I think we still have one more keyword.
Yeah. I think we might have 2.
Yeah.
So we have update to the RAM keyword here, and this is, I'm guessing, for Fifth Brother.
Yes.
And let's see. What they added here was 2 conditions to being able to change the results to a crit. The first one they added was the unit leader has a notched base, and the unit performed at least 1 full standard move at its maximum speed during the same activation as an attack using RAM X. So I'm guessing that's to cover your tauns.
Yep. I
That's
don't
like
think
the
that has
old
changed.
notch base.
I think that has
Yeah,
not
that-
changed at all. I think
Mm-mm.
that's
And
the
then
original rules for RAM.
The second one is the unit leader has a small base, and the unit performed at least 1 move during the same activation as an attack using RAM X. I'm not sure how you could not perform a move to get the RAM.
Well, they changed this because for small base troopers, you don't have to move along the movement stick anymore. You just teleport to the end. So it's kind of the same thing with the overrun rules, where you just move a millimeter and then that counts. And then if you charge or do whatever, you can get RAM. So as long as you perform a millimeter move, you are golden. You have RAM. Unlike a notch-based trooper, which has to perform a full standard move,
This
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this
so you
kind
can
of-
do the you can do the short move with.
Exactly. You can do the
Fifth
short
Brother,
move with
okay.
a small base trooper. Unlike like a Tauntaun, where you have to do a full speed 3 move, and then you get RAM. But
That'll
like with Fifth Brother,
probably-
you can just do a little bump and then move into melee with someone.
That'll probably feel better instead of having to like do L's around
Yeah.
a unit
yeah,
to try to
yeah.
get back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good future proofing and stuff like that. And I mean, it makes sense for. I mean, it's a win for Inquisitors, 100%. I mean, I think it makes Fifth Brother interesting. So, I think I will say too, it doesn't specify whether it's a melee or ranged attack. So I think there's a really weird case where you can get RAM off with Saber Throw. I saw this somewhere or heard it somewhere where you can like move and then Saber Throw, which uses his melee profile.
Which
But
one,
it's,
is
like,
where
really
the RAM
niche.
is. Because the RAM's in the melee
Yeah.
profile. Yeah.
Well, it just says
Yeah.
it just says attack.
It just says an attack. It doesn't specify whether it's ranged or melee.
yeah.
But I think it's really niche because Fifth Brother only has 1 force slot. So like, I don't think you're going to use that force slot on Saber Throw.
Yeah, and that only works because
But-
RAM is on the melee. So RAM's not. I think they have a Saber Throw by default on their card.
They do have a ranged attack for their Saber Throw.
But
Yeah,
the RAM is
Twirly
on
Bird
that.
sabers.
So you have to use
Yes.
Saber Throw to use the melee profile that has RAM.
That's correct.
I don't think
That's
people
correct.
will probably. I think people probably would be inclined to take Force Push still.
Yeah.
over
How many
that.
dice? How many dice are on their Saber?
I don't know. Be 2 or 3, but
Let me
I think
pull
he'd
it up
be
right now.
probably
I'll pull it
limited
up.
by the
Because if
RAM.
you're halving it with Saber Throw, I mean, getting
I mean, I think if you want to play
two
into that
guaranteed
gimmick,
through
then
with Pierce 1 is good, but I don't know if it, like you're saying, it's worth giving up the force push.
Sista. Fifth Brother is 5 black.
Yeah, so it'd be
Ram
2
2.
black, RAM.
And then
What's
his
the RAM
throne
on it?
lightsaber is 3 black. So it's literally,
Yeah.
he has a built-in Saber Throw profile. It just doesn't have RAM.
Yeah.
But the Saber Throw would allow you to get 2 crits automatically if you moved. So
Maybe it's worth it in the if you bring a bunch of mortars and fire support those, and then ram the.
I
The
still
mortar
feel like that's going to be
shots through.
super niche. Like, if you want to play into that gimmick, like, sure, bro. Like, if you get that off, that I'll buy you a beer. Like, good for you, man. That's cool.
Yeah, I'd still. I'd think it'd be.
I still think Seventh Sister is better than Fifth Brother.
Yeah, he's the one that is associate with her, right? So he's the add-on.
yeah, she's the main,
Yeah.
and then she has associate Fifth Brother, which there was a minor change to that in the CRB as well. Which I don't. Is that our next one, Randy? Oh.
Nope.
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 That was it.
Didn't
Okay.
get it.
I have it right here. It is during army building. a unit with the associate keyword does not count its rank towards the maximum rank requirements for that rank if a unit with the specific unit name is included in the same army. It's a lot of ranks. So I think the main difference here is that this wording is a bit different than the reminder text on Seventh Sister, because the reminder text specifically calls out Fifth Brother. So I think this is just a way to like future proof in case they want to add associate to anyone else in the future.
Yeah, they can add more Inquisitors, hypothetically. Yeah.
I mean, they can add the Grand Inquisitor, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the only main. So it didn't really change the overall what the keyword does. I think they just future proofed themselves. They kind of did that too with Interrogate as well. Interrogate reads now, during the command phase, if a player reveals a command card that belongs to a unit at range 1 of one or more enemy units with the Interrogate keyword, and they would be a tie for priority, treat that command card as having one more pip. So instead of making it specific to like Seventh Sister, they just made it generic so that you can slap it on more people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the wording on this is interesting because it's
finally a counter to the Han Solo 0 pip card.
Yeah. So because
I don't think it does, because that's a 0 pip. So it's
so
not.
you treat it as one more pip.
But it says if they're tied, right? It says if they're the same pip, then you treat it as one more.
Oh, I see.
So. Okay. Can't Han Solo always be shooting first?
And there would be a tie for priority.
So
treat that command card as having one more
pip. It's a 0 pip.
And this is only specific to Seventh Sister command cards, because it's when you reveal a command card that belongs to a unit.
That's the same for cunning, though.
Yeah, okay. So like it wouldn't apply. Like she can't use generic.
And they have to.
And stuff.
I think she has to be at range 1 as well, right?
Yeah, of the commander that is issuing.
I mean, I'm looking at cunning, and I'm just like, is this not the same?
No, cunning. It's
tied. You treat yours as one fewer pip instead of your opponent's. So it's like the same thing.
Functionally, it's similar, but
does it say you treat yours as one fewer pip, or that you just win the tie?
Treat the command card as having one fewer pip. That's what cunning says. And then Interrogate says treat your opponents as having one more pip.
Is the tie precondition there for cunning as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So who wins the cunning off with that?
That belongs to a unit with a cunning keyword, and there would be a tie.
Which one goes priority? First? Is that do they trigger at the same window?
She's command cards having one.
Yeah, you're both playing command cards. So
would it be like a player priority thing? Like who's the?
So this
I think you go back to roll off.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If both players reveal a command card with cunning, then there's a tie for priority. There's still a tie.
Yeah.
So I think that will probably be eventually built into Interrogate as well. Because, I mean, it would be still a tie. Because if I'm going to choose yours if mine is one less, but then you're going to bump it up to one more, then it's going to be the same thing.
Right.
So, yeah, interesting. So, yeah, that's all the new entries in the CRB. So, exciting stuff.
There was, I guess, Asmodee had a panel at an event.
What was the event called? At risk of
GMMA
Gamma.
We started seeing some pictures today come out
of
some timetables on some new releases.
Baby. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these pictures got taken, and these are, I think, it says pre-order May, but I can't imagine they'd be. Or is it pre-ordering for May? So are they coming out in May? Or
I don't know. Yeah, so these are the range troopers for Empire, and then also the Republic clone commanders, unit expansions. So just like arcs, arcs have the same unit expansion box. Yeah, I mean, pre-order. I don't know
That box
if you pre-order them in May or if they come out in May.
Either
I have
way,
a feeling you'll be able to pre-order them.
It seems
in May
earlier, ahead of what we were expecting. I think a little bit.
Can you pre-order Inquisitors right now, or does that start on March 8th?
That I'm not sure.
Let me look.
Because I think that will determine what this is.
You can add them to your cart right now for pre-order.
So you pre-order them.
Inquisitors are available for pre-order right now.
Okay. So they don't ship out until March 8th then? Or they aren't available?
I've heard Asmodee stuff arrives a few days early versus the street date, but yes, I think that's probably about right.
So maybe you can pre-order. So maybe they'll arrive in May because we were told that Inquisitors were coming in March. So I'm assuming this is going to be the same type of deal where we get them in May. That's what my first assumption was. And MSRP, I think the Clone Commandos were $35 and the Range Troopers were $40, I think, which is kind of surprising.
The Clone Commandos being in like a almost Republic Specialist size box was a little interesting to me.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't sound like you'll have enough in a single box for Delta Squad and Republic Commandos, which means I'm probably buying.
Oh, that's a good
boxes.
point.
So
because it looks like on the box there's only 4 guys in a unit. So,
but very, very exciting. I
wonder if there's.
When I started the game, I really wanted to just lean into only clones. So maybe this is what gets me there, because I missed the Rex glory days, unfortunately.
Oh, me too, buddy. Me too, Rex
so
Star.
I've never lived in a world where just clones was really strong.
Yeah.
But
hey, I mean, looking at that picture, I mean, I see a gun on there that looks like it's going to have the advanced targeting keyword. Let me tell you. It looks
very snipery.
Very snipery. Just saying.
No, they've teased
stuff. Do you think it's just going to be 4 guys? You think that there's not going to be like an additional upgrade to get them to 5? Is it just going to be base 4?
I don't know. And do clone commandos play with other clone units? Do they have heavy upgrades? Do they go?
If they had that we aren't regs, then
yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. That's what there's all sorts of.
Are they going to have one wound? Are they going to have one wound?
Maybe a multi-unit clone unit. Wound clone unit. That's exciting.
Dude, if they have one wound, that's going to feel real bad.
It would feel pretty bad.
Yeah, it would be like playing Mandos or something. That would be awful.
Okay, Randy, way to poo-poo on our clone parade over here.
You're right. It is clones, so they will be multi-wound because they wouldn't do that to us.
That's right. They wouldn't do that to the best game of the army. The best army of the game.
Yeah. Nope. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Range Troopers, I don't know. I don't think any of us play Empire. So that's maybe not for us, but
the Range Troopers, I mean, they also have a gun that looks like it could have the advanced targeting.
They look like they have some pretty cool guns. I will say that. And I do like...
And there's a lot more guys in that box.
The minis look cool. I love the fur.
Commando box.
I love the heavy potential. It looks cool. I'm just not an Empire player. But I think they have to be cool because I don't think there's a ton of people beating down the doors to play the Stormtroopers from Solo. So I'm assuming they're going to be in the game cool to get people to, be interested in them.
It looks like they have a lot of upgrades. I mean, if you got the base model of 4 guys, the base unit of 4 guys, and then it looks like from that picture, it looks like there's 3 upgrades that you can take, 3 different gun upgrades that you could take. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how they do that. Yeah, but no, I agree. I think they got to have something. I mean, because right now shores and mortars are I think, the only thing you really play in Empire. Granted, none of us play Empire regularly.
Yep.
But usually when I play against Empire, there's always shores and there's always mortars. So I think you're going to have some kind of something to compete with them.
These guys are going to be special forces.
Oh,
I think
are?
they said.
Okay.
I think in a painting stream they said that, yeah.
Interesting.
Which is wild, because I don't feel like Empire needs more special forces.
Sure.
But I think that probably just proves your guys' point even more, because they're going to have to stand out in some way. Otherwise, why are you bringing them over ISF or Scouts?
And then the last one on there, Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
$50
confirmed
MSRP,
operative.
July, so a little bit later, which I think is probably good, because let Clone Commandos breathe a little bit. But I think everyone is I am enjoying Bad Batch personally. I think most people I've talked to are having a good time with Bad Batch. The full 6 Omega is there.
Yep.
So it's cropped out on that image, but I think we only saw Republic symbol on the box, which
so
that's
not happy about that one.
Yeah, there's only Republic on the box. Confirmed operative. It says operative expansion.
That is.
I think we all kind of knew that going in, though.
That is so
happy.
We were talking about earlier. So happy though to have.
Yeah, Gar needed a
combat operative. I know Padme has Sharp too, but
the solo symbol was kind of surprising. But the more I thought about it today, the more it kind of makes sense, because in the show, like, the rebellion isn't really a thing yet. Like, we're still a year or two from Vader and Palpatine taking over the Empire. This is a newly fledged Empire. Like, the rebellion is nowhere near what it was in, like, in Rebels or stuff like that.
Clone remnant.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. So it still makes sense that they're still in Gar.
I put it
fighting
50,
the good
I
fight.
put it 50-50 that they are actually still in Rebels. Maybe if that's a mercenary, maybe you could take them as, because they did mercenary work. Maybe you take them as a mercenary. I don't know, but I would be surprised, especially with Omega in there, if they don't.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's throwing me off. I'm personally glad they're not mercenaries. I really thought Crosshair was going to have an Empire key, like an Empire symbol on his. Like, I thought he was going to have his own unit card and then like a Gar Empire tag, but it seems like it's not going to be like that, which I'm fine with, because I'm super excited for these guys. I think they're going to be fun on the table.
Yes.
Maybe it'll be like a Old Man Rex comes out for Rebels, and then in his box will be the Rebel version of the Bad Batch cards or something like that.
Give me 3 more Rex
speaking
cards.
Mitchem's language.
Give me 3 more Rex cards.
Mitchem needs Rex for Ahsoka for his thematic list.
I mean, they did that with Chewie and right, like they got their cards for clones later. But that was also fact that they weren't. There was no clone faction when they got released, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
But I mean, they could still do it that way.
I would only play Rex and Ahsoka I would sell all my other models. I think I would just play Old Man Rex and Ahsoka. That'd be great.
But really exciting. This is.
I have a 600-point bid.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like we kind of come out. We've been in a little bit of a drought. I know it was a holiday. I know they called the shot on them being kind of down on releases at the end of the year last year, but it feels good. Adepticon's coming. I'm hoping there's even more. I'm sure we'll see this again. And then hopefully they, tease stuff that's even a little further out. And that to me is exciting. Exciting as a Republic player for new releases. I didn't really ever get into Cody, so I feel like I've basically been not having new units for a while. So this is good.
I'm really hoping for some news about I doubt there's going to be a Shadow Collective update, but another Merc Battle Force that at least uses the same cores and some of the units would be great.
Dude, Hondo Pirate.
Shadow Collective and Rebels, these announcements were cool, but didn't do a ton for me.
Yeah.
So hopefully there'll be some unannounced stuff at Adepticon that will be up my alley.
Yeah,
But
AMG.
These are neat.
Yep.
I
Dear
think we're gonna
AMG,
get a
we are
lot of
once
good stuff
again
at Adepticon.
asking for Shadow Collective or Mercenary for Randy. It's been years.
Gungans.
If I feel like I might get Gungans before you get Mercenary, but
I'm starting to feel that way as well.
and I don't see
Dude, a Hondo pirate battle force would be epic. Like, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, take 4 units of swoops.
Yeah, I feel like swoops fit right
You can
in.
add that tank. You can add the tank too. There's that tank that they have in that one episode where he captures Dooku and Anakin and they have to work together.
Yeah,
Or Dooku and Obi-Wan, like...
Yeah.
There is a lot of stuff to pull from.
There's
Mitchell.
a lot.
Us and everyone in the community knows that for
There's
sure.
enough to have a scum faction. I don't know what you call that. Call it whatever you want. A catch-all, third party.
Red Dawn, like it's supposed to be called.
I love battle forces. I know sometimes they're a little overtuned, but I feel like they're thematic. They're fun. There's so much room for so many different battle forces in a kind of scum deal. Just make it happen.
But anyways, I won't go too much.
We digress.
That's okay.
Adepticon, it just got a whole lot more fun to wrap up. I think with these rule changes coming out and these pictures coming out of pre-order stuff, I'm definitely 100% expecting unit cards for all 3 of these units to be released.
Can you imagine if they were like, "Hey, Clone Commandos are here. We got some." Like
Dude, you better buy.
Yeah.
I will Venmo you, and you're gonna buy.
Yeah, like I'm seeing how many I can get.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring a whole truckload back to
But,
Oklahoma. So
yeah, so this is probably I've not been this excited for Legion in a while, just as far as releases.
I was telling Randy before we started recording that before you got on, this is probably the most excited I've been about Legion in a long time. I don't know if it's just the rule changes or not really rule changes, but like new keywords that are exciting and fun. And then, it feels like we've been talking about Bad Batch and Clone Commandos and Range Troopers when were they released at Megapalooza?
Mini
last
Stravs?
summer?
That'd be September.
Mini Stravs,
yeah. So
it seems like it was forever ago.
months? Yeah.
It's been a while.
And I'm, not dogging on AMG at all because, I'm glad they're taking their time and making sure that, play testing and make sure that these are good units and stuff. But I am excited to put some Bad Batch guys on the table. Like, I'm even excited to paint them. Like, and I'm not a painter, so
yeah, you got me excited to paint more clones. That's
and
saying something.
Not white armor, dude. They're not white. It's gonna be awesome.
If I do Clone Commandos, though, I'm gonna have to do a couple of regular guys. I was thinking about
you gotta have a Gregor in there too.
Yeah, I was thinking about my glowing blue visors today. I'm in. I'm in.
And like the yellow highlights.
I've got some neon blue. Don't want to go back to hobby, but I'm hyped. They got me. I'm back in. It's been kind of a lull, but I'm back. So this is great. I mean, I've been playing the game. I'm loving the game. But as far as new content, this is very, very nice.
Hopefully just a sign of things to come.
Yeah,
shortly.
For sure.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. I know we had a lot of other things to talk about too, so hopefully we can get into that soon. But who knows? Who knows what could happen between now and the next one? So, yeah. So we'll keep our ears out. And do we have any events or anything coming up, or is it pretty much just a Adepticon for you, Matt?
Yeah, I think there's a tournament coming up in April, but I think we have a little bit to plug that. I think it's at Game HQ. I think we'll probably talk about that in the next episode.
I think there's a play day being scheduled in one of our local game stores. Not necessarily a tournament, but kind of some like last minute Worlds practice that's coming up as well.
Which I think will probably happen before we release this. So,
Yeah.
So ignore everything Mitchum just said.
yeah.
That's fine.
As usual. Yeah, as usual.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But okay, cool guys. Well, that'll do it. Remember, X and O, one game away. See you next time.